not so much on the exercise piece, because the exercise piece comes as a result of having energy. So I wasn't concerned about that. I had that down. Most of us know how to exercise. But what I really wanted to learn was how to prepare foods, for my body to begin to crave healthier selections. That was more so my focus during the detox. Now, after the detox was over, I would do walking. I would do things that my body felt good about. I would do yoga. I would do things to get my body prepared for just something more rigorous down the line. So just like I had to start slowly with changing my diet and that type of thing, that's what I was doing with my body. It was as if I was starting all over again. Now, when I transitioned out of the detox, though, my diet entailed vegetarian type foods. So I was still doing cheese and that type of thing, but I had eliminated the meat. And that was based on what my body was telling me. It was showing me that it no longer wanted meat. And that's where that whole, spiritual piece came in.
Yeah, I find that really interesting that you said, what your body told you to do, or, listening to your body, because, I was a pescatarian, meaning I still ate fish, but wasn't eating meat or anything. For a while, actually the first maybe 2 years, this is years ago. And I just remember one day, I talk about it often, I had no intention of stopping eating fish. I thought fish was fine. I mean, for heaven's sake, I'm from Texas and I stopped eating beef. Hadn't I done enough? I was just like, I stopped eating meat, eggs, and chicken, and I'm from Houston. I thought I had done my due diligence, but, so one day I'm just at the refrigerator with this tuna sandwich, and I couldn't eat it. I bit into it, but I couldn't swallow it. I completely lost desire for fish, and this includes, I was a big sushi fan, all that good stuff. I'm a big sushi fan. And it was just over my palate. And it's interesting because not too far before that I had done a short fast, but my palate had really changed. My interest in food and different types of food, it really changed just in that short period of time. So I definitely understand you when you say that. So speaking of where I'm from, where did you grow up? Where are you from?
Oh, my goodness, Janice. I'm from everywhere. I
know. I was like, I meant across Champaign, Urbana, Chicago, the Moon. I don't know. I was like, so where would you say, where did you grow up? You were born somewhere, but where raised you?
Yeah, I was raised in between central Illinois and the south suburbs. So Decatur, Illinois was my home, and also Country Club Hills, Illinois. That was predominantly what my childhood was about. But I was born in Texas, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was born in
El Paso, I liked you.
Texas. So you said that, I'm like, yeah, I know. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, and so then you spoke a bit about, making the decision to get on this path because you had so much, health problems and different things like that. One of the things that I definitely want to put a pin in is the fact that, do you take any of that medication anymore?
No, I do not. And thank you for bringing that up, Janice.
And that's a really big thing, to share with our listeners because, even I have relatives, that are on medication and different things like that. And after a while, I think especially after a certain age, people get convinced that you can't stop taking this medication. And, if you do stop taking it, or changing your lifestyle around it, the feeling that you're feeling is because you're not taking the medication. I would imagine it's because you're detoxing. Detoxing, in the very beginning. I remember when I first stopped eating chicken, when that went, I was like, oh my gosh, what have I done to myself?
Yeah.
I was like, what have I done to myself? Yeah. So even exploring a lifestyle that will allow you to step away, from those things, with, of course, especially, to have certain conditions under guidance and supervisions of someone that's, qualified, such as yourself. It's possible,
Absolutely. It absolutely is. And I'm glad you brought that up, because my physician had given me 3 months to get it together, because if I came back in there in March and my numbers were the same, he was going to put me on the cholesterol med. So that was another driving force for me. When I went in there in March, he, pushed me out the office. First of all, he didn't know who I was, because I had lost, at that time, I probably had lost, maybe 30 pounds, 35 pounds, something like that, maybe 30 pounds or so. And so I looked like a different person. And then he did my blood pressure. He did another physical on me. He was like, wow. And I'm like, yes, I hate pills this much that I went for it. And he was so amazed because the doctors tell you to change your diet, to eat fruits and vegetables. I don't think they really believe that you're going to do it or that it works.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
A lot of times, I've been at the doctor's office with one of my grandparents before, and it just seems so routine. Are you eating fruits and vegetables? Are you smoking? It's just like, are you even gonna look up and see if they're really serious or even caught on to what you're saying? And I think that also, especially depending on where you're from, the idea of incorporating more vegetables in your diet, when you learn, like I said, I became more of a foodie when I became a vegetarian. I learned more about food and how great it could taste after that point, because, for a while, that Caesar side salad, with iceberg lettuce, I mean, if that's what being a vegetarian was going to be, it wasn't going to be happening in my life,
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. I felt the same way. I was not a big vegetable fruit person, which was why I had to go so intense with the all liquid, because I had to retrain my taste buds, literally, so that I could begin to crave the very things that my body needed, which was fruit and vegetables. I had to change my mindset and everything to make myself want these things. So I completely understand what you were saying. Yes.
Okay, well then, in that case, since we're talking about a little bit about the topic, I guess we could just go right in. So why don't you again let us, our listeners, know a bit more about what we're talking about. And before we get started, just 1 second, just a reminder, all of our listeners, if you have any questions for Tammye, please do either A, post it on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/igniteyoursoulconnection, or B, press 1 on your touch-tone keypad or your mobile device, and our moderator will make sure that we know that you have a question. Okay? All right, take it away, Tammye.
Okay. Well, first of all, I want Janice to define detoxification. You hear a lot of things on the radio or the television that talks about detoxing, but what is it really? And so the definition that I've come up with is it's the most energy-consuming metabolic process of the body. So the process of a deep tissue detoxification is to help repair the imbalance of the mind and the body by breaking up and removing the stored toxins from your major organs as well as your deep cell tissues. Because disease starts in the spirit, it is vital to treat each area holistically to assure a natural and permanent lifestyle change. So that is Restored Inc.'s definition of detox, because I am aware that there are liquid detox or products, things like that. Well, this is an actual program, and it's holistic. So that's what it means to us. So the why behind why we need to detox, Janice, I like to go into some statistics. And this is where my heart is, in being able to educate the community about why detoxification is so important. It's not a gimmick. It's necessary for us to live. One of the things I want to point out is the number one cause of death. Most people should know this, but if you don't, it's heart disease. And heart disease is defined by coronary artery disease, heart attacks, arrhythmias, high cholesterol, hypertension or high blood pressure, peripheral artery disease, congenital heart disease, and heart failure, the number one cause of death, which is something that is preventable. And as a society, we have become so insensitive to heart disease. We think it's okay to be on medication for high blood pressure when you actually have a disease. It's not okay. So because of being insensitive, we go to the doctor, we get a pill, and the doctor says, okay, take this, and this will keep everything under control, so then you can go back and eat and pretty much do the things that you were doing and live longer. That's not acceptable. The second cause of death is cancer. Cancer is preventable. As a matter of fact, in 1932, there was a Dr. Otto Warburg who won the Nobel Prize in medicine for his discovery that cancer was anaerobic, that it happened as a result of the absence of free oxygen. So we know how to prevent cancer, but unfortunately, cancer is a billion-dollar industry. If we put the money on prevention, the pharmaceutical companies and the hospitals and the managed care companies are not going to make any money.
Yeah, there's more money. There's more money in the treatment than the cure or prevention, for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. So then we go out and we do these different walks, and we want to raise money for the cure. We're going to find the cure. We're going to find the cure. Our emotions are acted upon because we have loved ones that we've lost to cancer. So we're out there walking for 2 days, 3 days to raise money for scientists to continue to look for the very thing that they already have found. They know what causes cancer. So that's disheartening to me. The third thing, the third leading cause of death is stroke. So I'm sure we all have had loved ones who've had stroke. What do we think that's linked to? Just like cancer, just like heart disease, it's linked to what we are putting in our bodies on a daily basis. Disease has to do with the lack of nutrition, the lack of oxygen, and waste that sits in the cells of our body that we do not eliminate on a regular basis. That's what disease is. And all of these top 3 diseases are preventable. Now, I have a quote by the Center for Disease Control, which actually confirms what I just said. This is not my opinion. This is documentation that you can look up. Everything I state is information that you can look up. And what the Center for Disease Control says, much of the disease and premature death that affects people of all races can be linked to lifestyle choices. Hopefully,
absolutely.
Hopefully, education and awareness will reverse this trend, and we will see a reduction in disease rates. Now, this is what the CDC is saying. This is in writing. I quoted them directly. This is why we need to detox. This is why we need to learn how to heal our minds, our bodies, and our spirits. Because otherwise...
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say because otherwise we're going to end up being a statistic, and we don't have to be.
Absolutely. And what's really interesting is that, they're talking about, society and life choices. One of the things that, I speak a lot with my friends, is that I often go to a day spa to do like a meditation or, infrared saunas, like different, forms of just, surface level, I guess you could say detox, or just things that put me in a right mind or spirit to continue on. And a lot of people see that, believe it or not, going to steam rooms or, doing detox or colonics or, eating certain types of food or eating food from certain places as being a life of luxury. Now, true enough, usually there's a cost associated, but it's not in a luxurious lifestyle. It has to be it really needs to just be a standard.